Hello and welcome to Dungeoneered, a podcast dedicated to discussing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
Let's do this. So Josh, for this week's Lukewarm Open, I wanted to talk about something I'm extremely excited for, which I bet you can probably guess because I've already sent you texts and Discord messages about it, and that is The Boy and the Heron. I am so excited for that. So have you done any research or looking into The Boy and the Heron? And can you explain to everybody what it is?
Okay. Well, so it's the new Miyazaki film. For
so
people who
excited.
don't know who he is, which would be really sad to me. Because there are people that they do exist.
Yeah.
It's the new Studio Ghibli film, or Ghibli.
Oh, man.
I always forget what the correct one was.
Studio Ghibli. I don't know. That's all I've heard it as, and I even speak Japanese. So.
Yeah, it's true. I do think it is. I do think it's Ghibli because they even like talked to Miyazaki, and Miyazaki's like, "Yeah, it's Ghibli."
Yeah, I'm assuming it's Ghibli, but I don't really know.
I honestly knew so little about it because I kind of wanted to just experience it. And then I heard it was like released in Japan and it wasn't released here yet, and I was so close to like trying to find some sort of a cam of it or like something because I just wanted to watch it so bad. And I just saw an advertisement that I sent to you today on TikTok that reminded me, oh shoot, it's coming out. And it had all like the American like cast, the English cast, and like showed
there's
like
a couple
which
things
character they were, and it looked so good.
I know. Well, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about with it. Is first I wanted to talk about the cast because my lord, is it stacked? You know, it's crazy.
It's more than stacked. It is insanity.
And I wanted to ask you because you know stuff about this. This is what I was talking about when we were chatting. Christian Bale, when did he start voice acting? Question mark. Has he done that?
I don't follow him very much. I think this will be his first like major thing. I'm in voice acting.
What?
The one I was more excited about, which because he just did such wild things with his voice that I was like, "Are you going to be like?" I think I saw somebody on the TikTok that I saw say it perfectly. Is he going to be the next Mark Hamill? Which is super well known for his like acting career on screen, and then has also insane talent as a voice actor.
I don't know.
Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah.
Who plays the heron, the titular heron in the movie.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. It honestly, the trailer. So for those of you who haven't watched it, go watch it. You'll do yourself a favor.
Totally.
It's so good. It's so good. First of all, is the heron good or bad? Both.
We don't know. We don't know.
I don't know. He seems good, but he seems bad.
It seems like it's going to be this weird morally gray character because at one point one of the characters says like, I was told by a gray heron that all gray herons are liars.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so they're trying to like put up that this gray heron is like maybe untrustworthy. Like, I'm curious. I'm so curious and want to see this movie already.
So yeah, for I guess for those who haven't heard anything about this movie, essentially the premise is like a young boy is searching for his mother, right? I think is kind of the premise. And
I know nothing about the premise.
Okay, yeah. That's kind of the premise, I believe. And so he's following a known liar to find his mom, I think is what it looks like. And in the movie, he's like, in the trailer, he's like fighting the heron, but also the heron then guides him.
Yeah, he yells at him sometimes. Oh, December 8th.
Yeah, December 8th.
December 8th is when it comes out.
I know. I want to see it so bad. But there's one thing I wanted to talk about in particular. Well, a couple scenes from the trailer. First, a scene that like kind of was super disturbing to me is halfway through the trailer, like frogs are crawling all over his like body, like swarming him. I don't know what the heck this is about, but anyways, all these frogs like crawl up his body.
I don't know if I've seen the same trailers.
Oh, have you not?
I will literally say all I have seen is that TikTok video that I sent you.
Yeah.
That is it.
So that's like half of the official trailer. So I just posted it in Discord, so there's the official trailer. But
okay.
Yeah, the only reason I even mention this is because it kind of reminds me a little bit of the world I'm creating right now, where animals are like sentient and are a big part of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the heck is going on in the scene? But then directly after it, he touches a figure and it's like water. So I don't know, like, because in D&D, aren't like what simulacrons, aren't they made of water when you like die? Are they made of water, or am I just totally thinking of something else in my brain?
They're made of
They're
snow,
made of
but pretty
snow.
much water.
Okay, but anyways, I was like, what the heck is going on here? Is that his mom? Is that I don't know. But it looks so much fun. It just looks so good. Have you watching the trailer?
No.
Oh man, it looks so
I
good.
I have too much ADD that
Uh,
I would not be able to focus on what you're saying, and we're recording a
yeah.
podcast, so I have to listen to what you're saying.
I'm just so excited for it. I don't know. It looks so much like it gives me serious Spirited Away vibes, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So like, I'm so excited, and it's just so cool that Miyazaki was retired, and then he came out of retirement and was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna make another movie because I can, and like, it just looks so much fun.
I will say I don't know if it was, I think it was like a The Onion article or something, but it was like a fake article that was all like, uh we can't get Miyazaki to stop coming out of retirement and forcing us to make another
Yeah,
movie.
that's so
Like,
good.
it was all about like how he says he's retired. I'm not gonna make any more, and then he comes back for one more,
It's so
and
good.
it's so good. And then he's just a few years later, I'm gonna come back for
Make
one
another
more.
one and then make another one. I don't know. I just love it. I love it. And do you know anything? Is the spirit like is the world of Miyazaki all one thing, or is it separate worlds? Is it? Do you
Oh,
know?
they're definitely separate world. There was no way.
Well, like Totoro
Uh,
obviously can't be. Well, I mean, maybe it can because there's
well,
a
I was
train
going
in
to say
Spirited Away.
Porco Rosso
Oh, true.
and all the Kiki's Delivery
True.
Service and all those can't be in the same world.
Yeah, I don't know any. That would be fun to look into actually for some podcast topics. Is like the world of Miyazaki, and if there's any world building. Like, I can't decide if
Well,
Miyazaki's.
no. It will not. It would not work for this.
Really?
For this,
You don't think so?
Yes. No, it wouldn't work at all because of the specific way that one movies work, where you don't have to go into detail on those on the world building, but two, the specific way he does world building. His world building is all in this beautiful artistry where you can imagine this insanely rich, beautiful world, but he doesn't need to go in the details of it. And honestly, going into a lot of the details of it would ruin the like majesty
Yeah.
that you've built up in your head. It's
Because
it's a master like class in
Yeah.
how to do world building for movies, especially fantasy movies.
Well, especially
Like,
his
just-
style is so good with it too. Because what I was gonna say is like, I don't know if he actually makes worlds or if he just. It almost looks like he throws random stuff, like just random weird
no.
things.
I think it is. I mean, I think it's incredibly well thought out.
Yeah,
But I think it is. We're gonna put this in there, and we're not gonna explain what it is or why it was there or like, oh, who invented this?
Yeah.
Like it's there because it's there.
and then I'm curious. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if listeners know more about it, they can, comment or write about it. But do all of his human characters, like his not main characters, all are like I don't want to say distorted, but they all look humanoid but not human. You know what I'm saying? Like the villain in Spirited Away, she has like a giant nose, like a bird lady. Like this huge giant beak on her face. I don't know, like that sounded horrible, but that's what it looks like. But I don't know, like, does he purposefully make all the non-main character humanoids like weird, like distorted looking or different looking, and what the purpose of that is? Is there a reason behind it? Do you know?
What do you mean? Because at first you started to say like all the villains, and then now you're saying all the side characters.
Well, it's just like even if like you're looking at
because I would say there are definitely villains in like Princess Mononoke,
yeah, but like
where they're kind of dealing with like people
Yeah.
as the problem
but I think
that
like
would
if
just
you
look like normal people.
like if you look, I know Spirited Away I think is a good example. Like all the cleaners, they're not human though, right? All those people who like are people who are hired by the bathhouse, but they're all like
Yeah.
almost humanoid but not quite. Some of them are frogs, some of them aren't frogs, some of them are just like people, but they're just not quite humanoid.
I would say I think there is a definite like psychological thing that we could read into all of this if we like
Yeah.
had a psychology degree and stuff and really wanted to focus on the psychology of
True.
something. I think you could definitely pull something out of like why he chooses to make certain characters these inhuman
Yeah, I don't
uh,
like even in the
creatures, but others are just straight human. I think in that case, specifically the Spirited Away one, um, I think a major point is just to make her such a fish out of water,
outcast. Yeah.
such in such a and no one is like you.
Right.
You are in a world where you are the only one like you.
Yeah, well,
You
cuz
feel so alone and so confused.
yeah, like the Boy and the Heron trailer, we see like I don't know if they're in it's in like a they're in like a house and the people that are in that house that are I don't know if they're cleaners or what they are. I literally can't tell cuz you see them for like 5 seconds, but they have like these really weird buggy eyes and bulbous noses, but they're like human. But they're like not human, you know? So I don't know like I don't know why he does that or what the reasoning behind that is, but I don't know. I always just find it fascinating to see all of his background characters because they're all like almost human, but just not quite what you're used to seeing. Like you know what you would think like if you had a generic picture of a human in your head, you know. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what the point of that is. And I know like I often hear people being like you have to be careful about doing stuff like that because it could be considered like rude or weird to a lot of people. So I don't know. It's just very interesting to me why he does it or how he does it. But I think that's pretty much all I had for the Lukewarm Open this week. Just super excited for this movie, and I literally cannot wait. And I want to go see it on December 8th.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna try and get tickets.
I should come over and
100%.
go see
yes.
it with you. I should. I want to. I'm going to. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm here for it.
I'm gonna do that.
If we think about this, if we plan this out well enough, like we could also do my birthday one shot at the same time. Like we could plan this. We could make it a whole thing.
What day is December 8th? I know we're planning on the podcast. We should.
I don't know. We're all talking about December 8th. I'm pulling it up right now. December 8th is a Friday.
Friday. You have work that day, right?
Yes.
Rest in peace.
But
oh, you're so sick.
I'm not feeling well.
Perfect. Yep, I'll be there. I'll be there. Oh, it's so funny. Hey, just so you know, December 8th was also a battle between former vassal Northern Way and the Battle of Can Hay Slope in 757, if you're interested.
Oh, man. I'm such a big fan of them. I can't believe I didn't remember that.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, what do you have for this topic, Josh?
Yeah, let's go into the topic. So, we're back at it again.
Heck yeah, city building.
Hlondeth Part 3.
Yeah, baby. Are we talking about
A continuation.
Cobalt War or whatever it was? I'm excited.
This time, we'll talk about more about the history of the city, because so many things have happened in the city's history. I'm going to recap what we know, though, so far. For those who are just tuning in, we're talking about the city of Hlondeth, a Yuan-Ti city in the middle of a lucrative trade route with pirate allies, which thrived in its location.
Heck yeah.
The city started out a human-run city. It withstood multiple assaults and attempts of takeovers, which its human leader, using tactics and cunning, held off until finally he was ousted and the city was taken over by a foreign nation, where we ended the last episode. The city was under the control of Chondoth, or Chondeth. I don't know exactly how it's supposed to be pronounced.
That's just the name, man. I don't know if it's your pronunciation or if it's just D&D names, but they kill me. Or if it's all the above.
I don't like it. I don't like the name of this nation. Or Termish. Termish is fine. It's not great. Just Chondath. Chondath. Chondath.
Or the Spawn of Ball.
Chondath.
I love Spawn of Ball, too.
Ball.
So good. It's just too good to be true.
I mean, technically, we could all be called Ball Spawn.
Yeah.
Wow. The city was now under the control of Chondath. Chondath was using it when we last left off as a staging zone for them to amass their armies to attack the Termish nation, because it was a good middle point for them. Now, they fought with Termish for a long time, and we ended last episode with them kind of reaching this stalemate. Neither was making progress, so they all just went home.
Rest in peace. They tried.
They did. It's. I mean, after you try for so long and waste so many supplies, you're just gonna say, "Screw it." I guess it's not happening.
I did my best.
Now, the city in the spring, after they'd all pulled everything out and they'd just kind of gone back to their nations, even though they still controlled Chonda still was like the governing nation, but they didn't have a large army there anymore. The Hlondeth was suddenly raided by an army of kobolds, which flooded onto the streets from the sewer system in the dark of night.
Oh gosh.
In this attack, the kobolds killed over 1,000 citizens before they even knew what hit them.
This is what I'm excited for, because kobolds don't normally do this, right? Kobolds are normally like little guys who hide.
They're normally nice.
Yeah, don't they just like care about the dragon eggs?
This story. I all I knew when I said I want to keep researching this city was that the next thing that happened to the city was a kobold attack.
Yeah,
the way that the city deals with the kobold attack is the wildest thing I've ever heard of, and I love it.
Do you know anything about kobolds at all? Like, I don't know anything about them. Like, do they have?
I think based on like from everything I've heard, I think they're kind of dumb. I think they're specifically like, they just kind of like to fall in line. They like to be to kind of have a guiding force, whether that's a monster or, in this case, a drow, or like.
Yeah. Do they worship dragons at all, or is that just a myth? Is that just a?
I think they do. I think because that's also a major one who loves to like command them.
Yeah. Why would you want to command kobolds? They seem pretty. No offense to kobolds, but they seem pretty like.
I'll say I think kobolds like to find these people because one, I think they're stronger. They see themselves as stronger in mass.
Yeah.
And these people can get them in a mass that could keep them protected and stuff like that.
Kobold Deathball sounds like a great band name.
Kobold Deathball? That is pretty good. But they also I'm trying to see if there's a good like.
Would Kobold Deathball be a screamo band? Probably, right? Like a metal band? It's got to be. Also, is there a difference between screamo and metal? That's good.
Screamo's not technically a genre.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah.
Wow. I've been lied to my whole life.
That's the biggest problem.
Oh.
So many people are like screamo, and it's like, well, there's multiple genres where people scream.
What is that propaganda from the non-screamo community?
Okay, hold on. Sorry. I am reading on kobolds.
Here we go. Oh, I love it.
Oh my freaking word.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh,
okay,
no.
Sorry. We need to do a kobold episode.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read this. I'm just gonna read this line word for word. At some point in time, kobolds learned to domesticate dire weasels to serve them as guards and hunters.
Dire weasels? Oh, it's so good.
Yes. Hold on. It gets better.
World building.
Gets better. This resulted in lycanthropic kobold dire weasels.
No.
Dire were weasels.
No, it did not. Shut up. That's so awesome.
Around 1 in 10,000 kobolds was a natural lycanthrope in this manner.
Oh man, my next kobold character has to be a dire weasel.
Oh, a dire
wereweasel? Yes. A kobold wereweasel? Oh, come on.
They got better. I didn't know kobolds could do better. They did. Incredible.
Oh no.
Okay, I gotta get back to
we're way off topic. We're in the weeds.
So these kobolds had killed 1,000 citizens when they poured in. The kobolds then went on to torch the governor's palace and the area of the city where the rich nobility lived.
Oh no! Yeah, get them, kobolds.
They specifically burnt down the rich and the governor.
They eat the rich literally. They really do.
Yes, they do. And I was like, wow, what a choice. In the chaos, one of the city's renowned families stood up and provided safety from the attackers. The people we had talked about previously, House Extibinos, had an imposing green compound made of the very marble, the green-colored marble that they mined. This marble stronghold was seemingly unaffected by fire, as it's marble.
Yeah, it would make sense.
And it was, while everything was burning around them, it was a safe haven. And so many of the citizens ran into this mansion for safety, and they were welcomed by the Extaminos family. The lord of the house, Lord Chevron Extaminos,
No.
was
Chevron?
it's spelled with sh.
It's chevron. It's just chevron. That's all it is.
Chevron Extaminos was a weird one. He was a human that had an almost obsession like love for snakes.
Okay. This
He
is
had
turning weird.
thousands of them as pets.
Okay.
Thousands.
All right.
Thousands of snakes. That's so many snakes.
I mean, I like snakes as much as the next guy, but
with the people taking shelter in his home for a long period of time, as the kobolds, once they got in, they just continued sieging from within. Like, they weren't done. So this lasted for like a week of the kobolds, like, just terrorizing the city, and a lot of people taking shelter in Lord Extaminos' house.
gosh.
With the people taking shelter in his home for this long period of time, he cried out in prayer to the god Ilmater. Now, Ilmater is the god of pain and suffering, and like
Why on earth?
the one who helps people endure with that kind of stuff.
I was like, why would you call it like, oh God, give me more suffering, please? Like what?
No, it's the opposite. He is the god of suffering and pain because he takes your pain on.
Oh, okay.
So he is like bruised and beaten and like broken legs and all these like damage on his body.
Well, I mean,
in all his like holy paintings and stuff, because he's
this
taking
God
on.
better be powerful to beat the comrade kobold.
Upon opening his eyes, Lord Chevron Extaminos saw his thousands of snakes were facing him, awaiting his command.
Oh no, no shot.
Lord Chevron went on a rampage with his thousands of snakes
No.
and the mercenaries of House Extaminos.
No.
They took on the kobolds and took back the governing quarter of the
those
city.
dirty snakes beat the comrades? No.
Yeah. But sadly, Lord Chevron died in the battle.
Oh boy, no more oil executive. Oh.
Through a few more battles, with the renewed vigor infused by Lord Chevron's passion over the next few days,
Did you just
Hlondeth
say
was freed from invaders.
they were infused with his passion?
Well, like he rallied the troops.
Yeah,
his
I get it.
His willingness to go into battle and do these things,
Just
even as this just rich noble, was like it rallied the people.
his
together.
passion just fused in him. Just
It was discovered that the drow leader of the kobolds had stolen the entire treasury during the war.
yes. Get
And
it, Queen.
while they just left.
It's Kristen
That was
Cinema.
their whole goal.
Sorry.
They just brought the kobolds there to attack, stole the treasury, then left, and left the kobolds there.
What? They just left them to die?
Yeah, they didn't care.
Aw.
They just wanted the money. Now they had the money, they left. So they were long gone. No one found them.
Why are the comrade kobolds always one with the short end of the stick?
It's sad. It's sad. I know.
The heck? They should all turn to wereweasels and just murder everyone,
This siege was stopped completely unaided by Chondoth, the nation which supposedly ruled them at the time, and the citizens were not happy. Anti-Chondathian sentiment spread, and multiple failed rebellion attempts eventually led to a successful one, aided by House Extaminos. While leading this rebellion, House Extaminos reconsecrated itself under the god Seth, okay, I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's Seth with two S's. Seth, Seth, or something.
Seth. It's a snake Seth.
Seth was a god of the Yuan-Ti, but they didn't just immediately be like, hey, we're going to worship a Yuan-Ti god all of a sudden. They said, we're going to worship Viray, and Viray was like the disguise of this god.
Wait. Repeat that again. Viray was
Seth
in disguise?
So Seth didn't have a like they were, if somebody just said they were going to start worshiping this Yuan-Ti god, that does not look good. So there is this public figure, a public god, Viray.
Got it.
That was like, if you worship Viray, you're worshiping Seth, but it looks better.
So Veray is Seth, but publicly acceptable.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So in this like moment of them having max appeal of the populace, they're like, "Hey, we're changing our god to this now. Cool? Okay, I know some of you didn't like that. Doesn't matter though. We're still liked enough by the people. It didn't matter. It didn't affect us that much." With this new god, their family became much more involved with the Yuan-Ti.
Well, yeah, their leader had a passion for snakes.
Yeah. And this friendship grew into a lot of crossbreeding between the two.
Yeah, there it is.
Until House Exterminos had the Yuan-Ti were the genetic dominant in House Exterminos.
Wow, so they were really infused with his passion. I mean, they really went.
I mean, this was over hundreds of years.
Yeah, that passion lasted a long time. Jeez.
A few hundred years later, a few things happen in relatively quick succession. First, Hlondeth, under extensive internal unrest, began to splinter into civil war. Over this war, many attacks were led on Hlondeth, but none of the attacks were successful, and Hlondeth broke into several independent city-states. Secondly, around this time, the cult of the dragon began spreading its influence into the city.
Ooh.
They joined in on the black market, smuggling, and just crime in general.
Are the kobolds about to get their revenge through the cult of the dragon?
And thirdly, the leader of the Termish nation changed, and they created more of a friendship with Hlondeth, wanting to put away old wartime sentiments, and they established a strong trade route between them. Around the time of 1000 DR, House Exterminos had finally ousted all of their competition, gaining the upper hand and ultimate control and leadership over the city. At this point, there are two eruptions of the nearby mountain, which occur about 300 years apart.
Uh-oh.
The first one, once again, because this will be the second and third eruption that we've talked about in the history of this city-state.
Man, that's unlucky.
The first one created this fog cloud, this cloud of ash, that while it was happening, Hlondeth got attacked. Remembering this, when this ash cloud shows up once more as the mountain erupts, they prepare for somebody to attack. Nobody does, and they're safe, as all of their enemies are dealing with their own internal problems at this time.
It's the volcano crying wolf, you know?
Yeah. The second eruption opened up a massive hole, which Diana Exterminos worried was a hole left over from the Kobold Drow attack, and she began to send many adventurers into it to search for any signs of them.
Yeah, once you go in that hole, though, you're never coming back. You're going to get lost.
I don't understand the joke there.
I don't think there was a joke. It was real.
Okay.
It was real.
Well, many don't come back, so you weren't wrong.
I am
after about
killing it with these guesses. I'm just saying.
After about 400 years, the cult of the dragon had firmly established itself, taking over the majority of the black market and slave trade of Hlondeth. They even had members inside House Exterminos, including the heir of the house, Demetrios Exterminos.
Jeez.
He was the leader of the cult in the city. They had infiltrated the trade and higher up political groups of the city as well. With all this power running through the city, the politics became complicated as Demetrios used his cult to disrupt his mother's grasp on the city and make him look better. While this was happening, House Exterminos started to create undead Yuan-Ti.
Oh, gosh.
As like a protective force, almost like guards.
Jeez.
They were we talked about them last week. They're the specific types of Yuan-Ti that are mutated other creatures to be guards for their brood, for their babies. But they were making undead variants. A high priestess that was a fan of Yuan-Ti but not a fan of House Exterminos let this slip, exposing this to some enemies of House Exterminos, hoping to weaken them further. For her. Around this point, House Exterminos is finally able to perfect its breeding program, birthing snake-blooded humanoids called exterminars.
Of course they would name them after their own name. Gosh
Yep.
dang it.
They were like a secret government organization of spies that could easily breed more if needed.
Yeah, you know how to best keep a secret? Is name it after yourself. That's a great idea. That's great. I wonder who could have done this. Oh.
These spies would build homes in cities all across the continent, and they would increase the influence of House Exterminos as far as they could, in both attacking kind of more of a brutal way, but also sometimes in more of a subtle political way. There's a few more things that happen, like another cult of Yuan-Ti tries to take over with the avatar of their god, but I think that's enough for now.
Oh, you just
And we can
teased
go
us
into
though. Just teased us just a little bit.
yeah.
Yo, and you're proud of it. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I could continue and talk about how the cult, that cult, allied with human Talonite worshippers, that that and actually a human anti-Yuanti group,
The anti-Yuanti group.
specifically to weaken House Exterminos,
We're
but were
antis
unsuccessful.
against Yuantis.
Yeah, they're called Serpent Secession.
No way. The Serpent
A,
Secession?
yeah, a human anti-Yuanti resistance band led by Gonthril Astinar.
The Serpent Secession. I think that's a cool name. That's pretty cool.
It's good.
The
It's
Serpent
good.
Secession. And if they said it with some like extra
I could also
S's,
tell you how a plague known as the pox burned through the human inhabitants of Hlondeth.
oh, okay. So they're just stealing a real disease and putting it in the world. Okay, I didn't even try.
But
with
they
that
don't
one.
affect Yuanti, so it's not great for
Oh
everybody
gosh.
else.
Oh man. Okay. Just cementing
It's
Yuan-T's.
just the human population.
Yeah, they just cemented Yuan-T's control even more. I was really hoping for
Yeah,
a second
it really
Cobalt
makes them
raid.
say, "Hey, Yuanti,
Stop. Stop. I was gonna say I was hoping for a second Cobalt invasion. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was really hoping that the Cult of the Dragon was actually gonna be a secret Cobalt rebellion from our comrade Cobalt, so that we're gonna take over. That's what I was really hoping for.
See, the problem is the leader of them in the city
Yeah.
was House Examinos, so it couldn't really happen.
Yeah,
that
but
way.
how big of a twist would it be if he actually had a passion for dragons and, and released his Cobalt horde, you know? And then the city became Cobalt controlled. How big of a twist would that be, you know?
It would be a
We're getting
twist.
Cobalt
But
all up in this biz.
What are we go? Can you do a recap
Oh,
of what
gosh.
we've talked about with the city?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Okay, so last week, last week. Was it last week? Last week we talked about the background and history of the city we've been creating. And since we kind of established that the city is created above / on top of this crystal formation, our pillars, one of our pillars, the world has experienced a lot of trauma and attacks, so the city-state has. And essentially, we kind of walked through this home nation attacking the city-state as trying to get its resources and people back as it rebelled. The reasoning for its rebellion was they knew that they had this valuable resource, and they believed in a couple things. One, that they could kind of use this material themselves for a better purpose instead of having to return it back to their home country. And then two, we had this kind of intertwining little religious idea around it as well, where there was like a religious group who believed that this crystal, which is actually the pillar, was some sort of divine entity of some kind and started worshiping it as well. These two rebelled against the mother nation, and after years of secretly selling this crystal and making a ton of money, they hired a bunch of mercenaries that the home nation hired to fight them. And so from within their own army, these mercenaries betrayed the mother nation's army, and the city-state became free after they won the victory. Does that sound about right, I think? In a rambly way?
Yeah, in a rambly way, it sounds about right.
Yeah. So what are we doing this week? What's the idea this week? Are we talking about a second revolution? Are we talking about what are we doing? Any thoughts?
Okay. So let's break down like what was the thing that was revolted from. Let's just
What do you mean? The city state revolted from its home nation?
yeah. So like what? Okay, like well, if we wanted to go the route of Second Revolution, which I don't think so,
Mm.
but I just want to like what is it that they didn't escape from something
Well, there's a part of me
that they
that
would want to have another one?
I don't know. There was a part of me that thought it would be a fun idea to have like a actual conflict between this religious organization that continues to grow within the city and the city itself
Mm-hmm.
and like the political rulers of the city. I think that could be kind of a fun little area to explore if we wanted to, because this cult is kind of not really fleshed out. I wouldn't say cult. I guess this religious organization isn't quite fleshed out.
No difference.
Yeah, there's no difference. True, you're right. But cult just sounds a little more, evil,
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily picture these.
Oh, so it sounds exactly as no.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No comment. No comment. But
No
true.
comment, no comment. JK?
Yeah, JK, I
Joking?
think.
Joking? Ha ha.
But yeah, I think I don't know. Do you have any? There was something in the back of my mind that said we had something planned for this week, but for the life of me, I can't remember. Were we thinking about
Same.
something?
I don't know if we were thinking about something. I will say, I like the idea of tension being brought between the religious group
Okay.
and the political group. I think the problem comes in where this religious group grows to such a size that they think they deserve specific representation in the government.
Do they? Okay, I like that. I like that. Do they think that the pillar being harvested, is actually bad, and we shouldn't, and so it becomes this dynamic between economy and religious reason, where one.
Okay, I think that's been done,
Okay.
and I know most things have been done. I would love it to be the opposite.
Where.
They want to exploit it more.
Oh.
They feel like they religiously have to. But like I don't know how it replenishes or if it replenishes at all.
Do we want this? Wait a minute. I just had a weird click. Do we want this to be the start of our weird cult that we kind of created in the beginning of this season? Where do we want this cult to actually believe like they need to be part of the pillar or something, and they start consuming it, leading to them kind of over the years and years, turning into what the cult is today? Or do we want to avoid that?
What? Okay, I think that valid, but I think what we should do is we should do it where it's like that's a splinter group. This is the original. This is where it came from. Yes.
So it's a cult
but it's
of the
not,
cult.
This is yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are a splinter faction that was so obsessive with this.
A splinter cell, as it were.
Yes, yes, a real Sam something. I don't
Tom?
Fish something.
Wait,
right?
What
Sam Fisher.
is what? I don't. I'm.
Splinter Cell.
It's-
You brought up Splinter
I
Cell. The lead character of Splinter Cell is like Sam Fisher.
Is it? Is Sam? I don't know. You think I pay
Yeah,
attention to
Sam Fisher.
Yeah, it was-
Splinter Cell.
I was like, nah, man. Sam Fisher. That's such a lame name. Sam Fisher. Ugh.
Samuel Leo. Sam Fisher
No,
is the
Samuel-
main protagonist and player character of the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell series of video games, novels, and comic books.
No offense to anybody who's named Samuel Lee Fisher, but
Leo.
Samuel Leo Fisher. That's even worse. Why? That's
Sorry for all you named Leo.
no.
I guess Aaron
No.
hates you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, anybody? No, those names separate are great. Samuel Leo is just too much, It's just too much. It's like lol.
Yeah, there's a lot of like L sound
Yeah,
in
it's
that.
just-
Samuel Leo.
Samuel Leo. It makes me want to say Samuel Leo. No, see, I can't even.
Leo.
See, this sucks. This is a stupid name. Anyways, enough about Sam Fisher. But
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I like the idea of the cult being a subsection of this religious organization.
And maybe this is like maybe what happens here is this group wants representation in the government. It thinks it's big enough that it deserves it, And in doing so, why one of the reasons why it's trying to do that is that it wants to, like, I don't know if it wants to like get rid of legislation that specifically like put like prohibit excessive use of the crystal, and they're like trying to get rid of those, or maybe it's like a um trying to put legislation in to allow like excessive use.
Yeah, I like the flip of they want to do they want excessive use. They want to use it more than what is being used currently. I like that. I think
But I will
that's
say what I want to have happen here is whatever like the quote unquote compromise is, because we were taught we want it to be a problem,
mm,
whatever it
yeah.
is whatever the between the political side and the religious group. There's problem with whatever they're trying to do. Who somebody has a problem with it, it causes a major mayhem of some sort.
Mm.
But I would like whatever the compromise is not acceptable for members of the group, and those are the ones who become the crazies of the other cult. So like they are the ones who like try to chip off some of this crystal, and they want to see if they can grow it on their own and like leave and eventually like ingest it and become.
There's a lot to unpack here. So obviously we need
Mhm.
a central conflict between these two groups. First thing we need to ask ourselves is why would the political group not want to use and or sell the crystal, the pillar, more than it already is doing? So why is that the case? I think that's a big question we need to answer. And then second, I do love this idea of trying to grow crystal. That's very druggy, but I like that idea of a group trying to grow or create more of this crystal. I think is very interesting. So
Mhm.
I kind of want to play around with
Because I
those
mean,
two
it
things.
is a natural, like crystal growth happens in real life.
Yep.
Like that is a natural
Yep.
process, and people can like fake it with massive pounds of pressure. So in a fantasy world, how would they try and?
Well, I guess okay. Well, is that part of an issue? Does the religious group want to use real crystal and the city state wants to fake it? Do we want to go that route so that they can preserve their resource? Um,
Oh,
do we want to go that route? That
oh,
could be interesting.
no, that would be fascinating to play out. Like that would be a fascinating thing. So like some like person invents
Yeah.
a process to like create a fake crystal, and riots break out in the city
Yeah.
as like these mass like rallies of like, you can't do that, that's against our religion, that's the like worst thing you've ever
You're
done, like
playing God.
these.
How dare
Yeah.
you?
No, or like you're spitting on God's face,
Yeah.
like you are. And like they are so up in arms with all these rallies that almost every rally becomes like violent.
Yeah.
It goes straight mob mentality.
Yeah.
And like that's where a lot of the problems, and like I don't know how they get the leaders to the
Yeah.
table, but they have to at some point,
Yeah.
because this is untenable. This is
Yeah.
not sustainable.
Let's play around with this. Let's kind of dive into this.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, how does this nation, the city state, create this crystal? Is this just through magic? Is there some sort of magical spell? Do they create some sort of growth chamber? What are we thinking here? What are we talking about? How do they
I am kind of wanting to go a higher magic
mm,
route with this, not like a pseudo scientific route, but
yeah,
like,
so not like a drug lab?
yeah, more like a deal with the devil or a deal with a fae, or like something that
Well,
like allows
we did
them to like, yeah,
Well, I was going to say we did play
we
around with
did.
the idea in the beginning of this shield that was created because of a deal with some sort of fae or devil. We did play around with that idea in the very beginning. Could we possibly revisit that? And there is some sort of deal that goes on. I don't. But do we want there to be a deal, or we want this to be like human magic innovation? Where like they create a spell
I
for it.
mean, I think that is a major, like this is a major um like decision for the campaign in the world. Like how if you want it to be a world of insane magic innovation, that's 100% cool and valid world,
Yeah,
but it is defining for the
it would be.
world.
That is a hard decision. Do I want? I don't really see this world though so far as like a high magic world. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Are you seeing it that way? I'm not seeing it that way so
No,
far.
I agree. That's why I thought like a deal with something that does have a higher magic, because I don't think people in their own power in this world could do that.
Yeah. Okay, so then we're okay. Is there any other way outside of drug lab, outside of higher power, and outside of arcane achievement? Is there another way that they could grow
I
crystal?
got it. I got it.
Oh, okay, okay.
You're going to love this because this is so up your
Is it a
alley
flesh
and
mound?
it brings in the other cult.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it a flesh mound? Because if it's flesh mound, I'm all on board.
It's kind of.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Don't get me
It's
excited.
the only way to grow it is in people.
Oh gosh. Oh, I was not. Okay, I was not expecting that twist and turn.
The only way to grow it is with human souls, is with bodies, is with
Oh gosh.
people. So I don't know if these people are alive when they grow it. Like you have to implant
Don't
it in like a baby, and it has to grow along with the child. So it's like it's not the fastest.
doesn't this directly tie into our big bad evil guy who's part of a crystal?
No, I don't. I don't. Uh, well, they were okay. Okay,
Because I think we could.
they were a failed attempt at ascension. Was that not
Yeah.
the correct? Was that not what they were?
Yes.
So I think the idea of a failed. Oh, hold on.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking here.
What if one of these people that are infected with this like almost like false holy energy, this false holy power, this crystal that's put inside them that they grow as they grow older.
That's.
What if they can't ascend?
Mm,
What if this individual who failed his ascension was the first one who was implanted with this thing?
and we kind of shift the
And this
timeline
is
way back.
yeah.
Mm,
And so this city has like was around, and this is where he was born,
I
and
like
as
that.
a child he was implanted with this thing, that this was the first attempt of one of those to try ascension.
So
And
okay.
this is when you find out that if you have this false holy magic, you get
Yeah.
you get messed up when you try to ascend.
Yeah, we're connecting the pieces. Okay, so this city has been around for a while, and the big
Hmm.
bad evil guy's brother, well, big bad evil girl, I guess, the big bad evil girl's brother failed his ascension, essentially becoming a part of the crystal, and she is keeping him alive. Right? That's kind of what we decided. He in this cult, he was born in this city to this religious organization who implanted him with a crystal to grow, or is it the or is it the the political people who planted this crystal with him for it to grow, and he
I
became.
I think what if this person is like the first,
Yeah, I'm
or like one of the early trials,
yeah I'm thinking.
and like the first one to succeed
Yeah,
and actually like live.
I'm actually thinking this religious organization and the cult are opposites. That cult that we made, right? So the religious organization believes in the purity and holiness of the crystal, right? They
Yes.
they believe in using it. They believe in, you can do whatever you want in that regard, but you cannot bastardize it. You cannot, make a unholy version of
Uh huh.
such thing.
Uh huh.
So this is where
Yes.
our split kind of begins to happen. The government over on this side of this city um, begins to try and grow it in people. The big bad evil girl's brother is the first one with a crystal embedded into them, right?
Hmm.
If you get that unholy bad version placed within you, you cannot ascend. And he attempts to
Hmm.
ascend, fails, becomes part of the crystal that he ascends to. Big disaster. Boom, we're back to where we were. Okay?
Hmm.
Love that. Love that. I think so. The thing I'm struggling with a little bit is timeline here. Okay? So, how long ago in the past do we want this to be, or do we want all of these events to be recent? Because we either have to back up the
I
timeline or we
okay.
got to make it all recent.
I don't think this individual has been around that
I
long,
agree.
but I also don't think it's been that short.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
I'm thinking like 100 years at most.
Are both of them implanted with crystal and it extends your life?
I think they're both implanted with the crystal. I think the only reason why they're still alive now is consumption, because don't they,
Mm-hmm.
like the beast they're on,
Yes.
consume crystal?
Yes.
I think consuming crystal keeps you alive longer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that. And does this crystal growing in people go anywhere? Does it fail miserably? And
No, I think it's a great
yeah,
success.
okay. And
Um,
it's
I
still
think there's
practiced?
failed attempts. I think it's still practice, but it's like a shunned practice. Like,
Mm.
yeah, very few people actually do it because of how tumultuous this, like, the discovery of, wait, you're doing this,
Yeah.
was. The people that still do it, I don't. Why would they still do it?
See, this
I
is
really want them to still do it. I want, like, a family to still be doing it, but I don't know why they would still be doing it. Like,
man.
what benefit they would
And
get
then like
for.
how do they harvest it? You know? Like is it grow out of
Oh,
your
the
back?
person dies.
The person
The
dies?
person dies. Person has to die. You have to, like, tear the. I think in, like, our modern world, you could do a surgery and remove some of it, but I don't think they have that kind of
There's a
capabilities
part of me
in the time.
there's a part of me that likes the person to live though and not die. Like it eventually grows out of your body and you can harvest that piece, but it hurts. You know? Like it's a painful
Well,
process.
I'm imagining that, like, but as when you're like 100.
And it will like when you get older it will kill you just from harvesting it.
No, no, no. I'm meaning the it takes so long to
Oh.
grow that big
Mm.
that by the time it's sticking out of your body, you're 100, something like that.
Do we play around
Um,
with
so if you wanted to collect it early, you would have to kill them.
hear me out here. Do we play around with a dual city type scheme where underground or somewhere with it, like by the crystal or whatever, there's a whole subset of people who are part of the city that don't get shown or don't exist because they are crystal, like they are growing crystals. Like, do we do like a dual layer here, where like, or do we stick with just one small family of politicians or of leaders who do this? Because there's a part of me that think it'd be really cool to find a group, like a large population in a secondary city connected to the city under in the shield that is actively growing crystal and you can see it growing on their bodies, but it's not ready for harvest yet. And those people are kept secret and away. And, there's a part of me
How
that
about
likes
this?
that.
I know I like that, but I think I would like to do. Um, I think there is. I think because of the negative response that it's such a negative response that it had, that wait, do you is it passed? Could it be passed down genetically?
Hmm. Like,
Because I part of me wants it to be passed down genetically, and I think that there is a family or a, like, small, like a clan or tribe or whatever that lives in the city that are still affected by these original trials, as in they are
so
still growing
like a
crystals, and
subset
I
of
think that,
Genasi.
yeah. But I want it to be still hidden. I want it to be hidden, like, as I was saying, until they're like 100 or something.
So there's a problem. So
But hold on,
okay,
hold on,
okay.
because I want to bring yours in too. I want to bring yours in. I think that yours exist, and they found, like, they are people that left when there was so much turmoil and have continued to research this. I think the family that exists in the city still maybe didn't agree with this, and maybe, like, have never tried to, like, improve the process because they don't care about it. They're just shunned for it, so they have to hide that they're growing crystals.
Okay.
But I think that there's this other group in another nation that maybe is even, like, creating competing products that has figured out how to expand the process and get visible crystals
Yeah.
earlier.
Okay. Oh man. There's so many things. Okay. There's a part of me that wants to play around with the idea of the political organization didn't succeed and the religious organization now is in control. There's a part of me that wants to play around with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the religious organization now harbors the people who were made of crystal and have that in their genes separate, away from the city. They're not ruthless and are going to murder them all, right? They're going to let them exist and survive, but they are kept
Mm.
away. So there's a part of me that wants to play around with that idea, which I'm not sure if I'm golden with or not, but there's a part of me that wants to play around with that. But regardless, I love the idea of a group of crystal people who are not a part of the city anymore. They left and they have their own culture and civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's small or big, I don't know, but I love that idea. And the party could find those people. That'd be a really interesting way to, introduce the party to a group. I think it'd be really fun. So I think that's a really fun idea. I love that idea. So I want to shelve that. I like that. Let's put that in the memory banks here. Um, the group within the city. So as the way I see it, we have two options. One is the religious group takes over, and they now harbor these people because they don't want to kill them. That seems
I,
cruel.
I will say I think this religious group, at least how I'm imagining them and would like them to be, they would be so passionate about this, uh, about the anger they have over this. Like, how dare you like be creating something like a god? I think they would slaughter
You
them all.
think they would
So
kill them?
I think it would need to be they are not known about the few that remain in the city, or like maybe the religious people came over, like took over, and it became super xenophobic and really hard to leave the city,
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we
and so
have
that's why they're
existing.
still there.
Yeah, that's why we have it. That's what we have the city as, like, in present day, right? It's hard to leave. It's hard
Yeah.
to go in because they don't trust anybody.
Yeah, and so maybe it's hard for the people that are gem infected. Maybe they even have a detection method or something. But oh, that okay. Maybe they have some sort of detection method for if someone is trying to like smuggle
In
out
and out. Yeah,
crystal,
yeah,
and these people who are growing crystal inside trigger it as well, even though it's a false
yeah.
crystal. So they can't leave because of that
Yeah.
reason.
Well, and that's that exactly where I think was going with this in my mind is we have this whole thing where people have a hard time getting in and out. They have to scan caravans, scan whatever, scan people, because we had this whole magic detection system and this, like,
Mm-hmm.
wall of magic that you cannot get past, right? Unless you're
Yeah.
approved. And I think this would be a perfect way to implement that with what's going on, where this religious organization has now taken control of the city hundreds of years. They are now politics. They're it, right? It's not a zealot city, right? I don't picture it as like if
Yeah.
I don't picture it as like a Vasselheim if I were to use Critical Role, where it's just like all religious, right? They sell all
Mm-hmm.
this. They're very mercantile systems, but they are religious at heart, right?
Yeah, there. I think it's a theocracy,
Yep.
as in like that's the
Yep.
leaders, but like the city makes money off of their mercantile
Yeah.
efforts
Yeah.
and the
And I
creations that
don't
they make. Like that is the
right.
focus of the city. Is this city of great craft
Yep.
and great
Yep.
skill?
Agreed. And I don't see, like, worship in the streets of this crystal. I just don't see that, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
picture like a massive group
I
of
I think
people.
it's worshipped, quote unquote
I do
worshipped,
too. I do too.
as like as like this amazing
Yep.
material that they have the like absolute privilege
Yep.
of working with.
Yep. And I agree. I absolutely agree. But I just don't see, like, crowds in the street worshiping a crystal or, anything like that. No child of Adam Fallout 3 style worshiping a nuke in the middle of the
Yeah.
city. I don't see that. I don't see that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a perfect way to tie in why people are getting scanned in and out of the city, why there's so much distrust, because they don't want any of this fake god or fake essence into their city. Um, because it, in their eyes, is essentially like, I guess, the drug epidemic, where, like, you can't, it ruins our trade, it ruins our economy, it ruins our religion, like all of the above, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable.
So, okay, question.
Yep.
Do they know about the survivors in the city?
Ooh, I like both. I like both no, yes and
Because
no.
you were saying that like they don't want any of this fake stuff. I'm thinking when you say that the fake crystal they don't want in the city is whatever these like people who grow the crystal somewhere else. They don't want that crystal. They don't know about the people inside
I think
the city
that's
walls that still have the
Yeah,
crystal.
I think that's what I want. So, I want they know about this group outside the city that escaped, right? They know
Hmm.
about that group that's making their crystal. It's one of the reasons why they have
Yeah,
these
I
walls
think
up
they've
too.
seen the products and
Yep.
things around, and they
Yep.
know like there are another group. I don't think they know what they look like or where they are
Yep. Agreed.
because they might be enough to go
Yeah.
against them.
Agreed.
But I think they are. They just know they
Yeah.
exist.
And I think I want to clarify too, this magic wall is up for more reasons than just this crystal, right? Because we do have
Yeah,
safety reasons. They don't want to get taken over and destroyed. They don't want their crystal being
yeah.
taken from them. There's a multitude of reasons outside of that. So it's not entirely this, religious.
Anti-scrying stuff like
Oh,
that.
all the above. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, But I love the idea of now this group hidden within the city that they don't know about that is growing this crystal in their, involuntarily, obviously, in the city. Is this group underground? I would love the idea of it like being in the core of the pillar as a total slap in the face. Like maybe the religious group thinks they can't go to the core of the crystal because it's too pure or something, like a temple
You're
of.
saying this other group?
Yeah, like it'd be really interesting if the only place this group could flee during whatever massacre was to the crystal, because this religious group thinks going to the heart of the crystal, the heart of the pillar, is too pure for them to go to. So like they would immediately get killed or whatever, or like a Jewish temple, you can't enter into the holiest of holies or whatever, otherwise you'd get killed. Um,
That I like that.
and
I
so
like the way that you brought it into something
yeah,
that from our world. I like that a lot. But I don't. I mean, that's not where they live, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
I just figured they lived in a house in the city.
I don't know. I like either or. I like, I like the idea of them fleeing there and then emerging, like they fled there and hid there for however long and then came back and now reside in the city. But
Mm-hmm.
the question is do you think this religious group would be patrolling the city and searching the city all the time? Like, would they be stopping people, or are they confident enough that the shield and their methods prevent anything from getting in?
I think they're confident enough that the shield and the method, and I think they are so like, I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say narcissistic, but that's not the right word. Overconfident with themselves
Mm.
that they are like, that they don't even consider it a possibility that there are already crystal people, whatever they call them, in the city.
Is there already a smuggling market in the city? Like, is there fake crystal in the city that they don't know about too? Like outside of those people?
I think so.
Because I think it'd be really interesting because we made these tunnels out of the city from the political group that mined and sold it. It'd be really interesting if
Yeah.
the religious group didn't actually know about those, and smugglers now smuggle fake crystal into the city as a means to try and gain back power from the religious group, like the political group. They're still within the city and they still reside and they're trying to take over, so they're smuggling crystal in.
Do you think that they've only recently discovered some products with fake crystal in it, and now
Mm-hmm.
they're like trying to figure out how do
Yeah.
we deal with this? Do
Yeah.
we immediately amp up security? No, people won't like us. We
Yeah.
already have such a bad like rep with people. We don't want to start a rebellion.
Yep.
Like, and they're like dealing with how do we enforce this without.
Yep. And I'm thinking the party, when they enter this city, can find these factions that are mingling together, right? They can join this religious faction. They can join the old rulers of the city and try and bring back the crystal. I think
Mhm.
there's several different factions and groups they can meet. They can meet this faction of people who are growing crystal that are unwillingly growing crystal or whatever that have been here for a long time. I think there's several different groups that you could play with within this city state when the party meets there, because we do have eventually the big bad evil guy bringing their big old monster to this city
Yes.
to consume this pillar. So I think everything kind of all roads lead to this city. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a very interesting and compelling spot to be with all these factions in it.
Yeah, very much so. I think this is a really interesting creation that we've done so far.
Yeah.
I think next week we should look at the crystal
I do too.
people that escaped.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually going to write that so I don't forget.
Yeah. Good. We need to make more notes on our worlds.
We do. We do. Crystal
Well-
people who escaped. All right, cue outro.
I think that will do it for episode 111 of Dungeoneered. If you would like to write to us, you can write to us at dungeoneered@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you if you have ideas for topics, lukewarm opens, recipes, anything. We'd love to hear it all. If you listen to us on any apps that have ratings and reviews, we'd love to hear from you. Let you know what you think about the show, but also if you write a review, it really helps show that people are engaging with the show in more ways than just one. Anything you can add, Aaron?
No, I think that's it from me.
Awesome. Well, as I always say,
Hate you so much. I just can't. I literally can't live with the silence when you do this. I literally can't.
always remember to be the sharpest barrel in the bunch. See you next time.
Bye.
got you.